The big health crisis of 2020 proved once and for all that, yes, most corporate workers don't actually need to commute to their company offices every single day. In fact, a lot of them pretty much don't need to go there at all. And suddenly people start to question, why were we doing that all this time? Why did we waste hours in either traffic jams or public transport in traffic jams, and also paid hundreds of dollars each month for that commute? The thing is, the extent to which employees should spend time in company offices is still a matter of debate. Some will say that they don't need to go there at all, but others will say that it's necessary to maintain company culture, creativity, and so on. And of course, most employers also believe that it's a better way to keep their employees productive, because when they're at home, you can't have so much control, and so you can't be sure that employees are actually working. The quarantine ended up being one massive global experiment of fully remote working. Now, many tech giants are leading the way in making it permanent, like Twitter. But there were already many companies that have adopted this strategy prior to the health crisis, some of which are quite big. Take GitLab, for example. They decided to be a remote-first company from inception, and they ended up growing to more than 1,000 employees. All remote, in completely different places all around the world. Their San Francisco so-called headquarters are actually the CEO's apartment, and he's the only one working there. In 2019, GitLab's valuation was close to $3 billion, and they're considering going public. But there are also Zapier, InVision, Basecamp, and many others. Once again, hundreds of remote employees, big revenues, decent businesses. Of course, everyone agrees that having a remote workforce is challenging, but these companies have put out countless guides and toolkits to help with company culture, communication tools, and organization on distance. Anyone can download their guides for free. They made them accessible and they reveal everything. So the bottom line is that it works. Some companies did it voluntarily before the crisis, and others have been forced to experiment it, and they are starting to realize that maybe there's more positive to this trend rather than negative. A lot of employees have been advocating for full or partial remote working since always, because they understand the benefits on the personal level. But companies are now realizing that they can also save huge amounts of money on office space. And when it hits the finances, that's when we're talking. Office rent is one of the major costs for most types of businesses, and the savings can be massive if it's completely or partially eliminated. If anything, those savings can offset some of the losses that companies are facing because of the global economic slowdown. And this is why I believe this trend is not going to be reversed anytime soon. First of all, the global economic slowdown is here to stay, so companies will need to save money somewhere. Second, the health crisis itself is far from over, and companies will not want to take the risk of their employees cross-infecting each other on their office floors. If most of your employees are sick, how do you keep running your business, right? Finally, they will also realize that employee motivation and productivity is actually higher when working remotely. Just the simple fact of avoiding wasting time going to the office in the morning already helps you wake up in a better mood. Take, for example, the CEO of Barclays. He says that the notion of putting 7,000 people in a building may be a thing of the past. Maybe we don't need all the offices we currently have around the world. This view among executives has been confirmed in a survey by PricewaterhouseCoopers. The thing is, if this trend really picks up so strongly, it will be a disaster for commercial property landlords and even entire cities which have big amounts of office space. By some rough estimates, this could drag commercial real estate value down by at least 30%. Just think about the impact it could have on places such as Manhattan, Hong Kong, Silicon Valley, or London, among others, of course. And besides all the perks of working from home, employees also realize that they can have a much higher quality of life if they just move even slightly outside of such big urban areas. They could afford houses and have a much bigger net disposable income. And even if companies decrease salaries to adjust for that, in most situations, they will still end up living better lives. However, with all this being said, It is true that there are, of course, benefits to physical professional environments. As I said in the beginning, company culture, brainstorming sessions, team building, and a sense of community are all important. And even the simple fact of mingling with coworkers during lunch or coffee breaks is attractive to many employees. These unplanned interactions are important to people. And this is where I think flexible office solutions will come in handy in the near future. I'm not simply talking about traditional co-working spaces, but even more so flexible in terms of occupancy time. Think of it as booking meeting rooms. In most co-working places, companies can book meeting rooms for hours at a time. But what about booking entire offices or even office floors? Let's say, for example, instead of renting a huge office full-time, a company just rents it each Monday, or one full week per month, and the rest of the time it's used by other companies or for other purposes. This is already happening exactly inside those co-working spaces. Some companies rent meeting rooms for entire days on a regular basis. I also know companies that gather their employees into their office 2 days per week, but they keep paying the long-term rent because their landlords haven't come up with those flexible offers yet. So instead of making this company eventually cancel their contract altogether, why not proposing them to pay only for those 2 days per week? And the rest of the time, it would be used by other people. Of course, in order to fill up commercial office properties this way, one would need quite a lot of time to find those tenants that would be so flexible. There needs to be a critical mass of companies looking for such solutions. But I think that this is exactly where the world is going right now. The density of office spaces will drastically decrease. It will free up a lot of real estate in major cities around the world. A big chunk of it will be converted into residential units. And combined to the current exodus from big metropolitan areas, real estate prices will drop and some cities will finally become a bit more affordable. On the other hand, more flexible office solutions will replace a lot of remaining traditional office space, and new offices of this kind will appear in more and more small and medium-sized cities around the world to accommodate new remote workers who need some social interaction. In addition to this, there's also the political situation in the United States. By going against highly skilled immigrant workers, the current administration will force big tech companies not to hire Americans instead, but to hire those same foreign workers remotely. This will yet again push this whole remote working trend to a new level. And on a side note, since these people will not be living inside the US anymore, they will create new talent clusters all around the world, which is an absolute win for countries that traditionally supply top performers to USA. There's one last sector that is directly related to this trend and which has been greatly impacted by the global health crisis, which is events and congresses. During the health crisis, these large-scale events have all been cancelled for obvious reasons. But people love them. It brings two main advantages to attendees. First, on the professional level, they can meet with their peers from all around the world in the same place for a certain duration, and this is extremely efficient to sign deals. A lot of attendees agree that it's easier for them to meet their local partners during these events, even when it's taking place in a completely different country, just because they all gather in one place and are fully focused on making deals instead of on their everyday operations. And the second benefit, of course, is the traveling itself. These events usually bring work and leisure together. Take, for example, Cannes in the south of France. When companies attend the Lions, which is a major advertising and creativity congress, or the MIPIM for real estate, they also enjoy nice weather, the Mediterranean Sea, amazing beach restaurants with delicious French food and wine, and world-class accommodation. So once the health crisis is over, I believe that Congress gatherings will go ahead as usual and probably increase in popularity. And all the cities that provide efficient infrastructure and other advantages for them are set to reap the benefits. If you enjoyed this video, do smash the like button and subscribe to my channel. Also, let me know what are your thoughts about this topic in the comment section. See you soon!